guli mu byafaayo. Nze Samo Mwesigwa nkwaniriza ku platform oli ku Baba TV neno TV eyo bwakyabazinga buli weddiwera essaawa 4 tegeera nti tuba tuyidye ku Katut the platform sobola okubaako n'ensonga d'otegeera edda ditambwire mu iwanga okuva gye bukeerere niye buzibire n'ebyo ebiri kuba mu bitundu by'olimu aye nga toli bitegeera mu iwanga lino erya Uganda tukaalina ibbugumu lya kalulu tukalinayo akalulu ka muwululu mulala nako akali ku level eya LC3 akali gy'okubibwa olunaku olwokusatu okukosa olwaido era di campaign okukuyega kukomenkereza ku lunaku lwa leero lunaku olwokusatu tudda kulonda abeesente baba amagoloza abadi town council diri ku level ya LC3 ne bakansala era nteekateeka eddondooza abannayuganda tuddeeteekeeteekeire weewaawo era nga mu lunaku luno olwaleero ebintu bingi ino bibairewo kubanga abannakibiina ekya National Unity Platform boona webugiire okuzibira munange nga basanufu kyadaaki bateireyo omusango gwebwe mu kooti y'ensuukulu mu the Supreme Court nga bakoba nti akalulu akakubibwe na kud'omwezi nga 14 mwezi ogwa January gwe twamaze kutikatambula bulungi balikoba ensonga dhaibwe kweddeningi de balikuwa akalulu kano kairibwemu mu ngeri efaanana etya kairibwemu Nedad Lubega Sseggona n'abandi n'abakulembeiremu ekibiina kino mukaire nga kooti mu bitundu eby'endawulo ditandise okuba ate nga diwulira emisango egyabo boona abeesimbawo mu kibuga eky'Eddindo olunaku olwaleero ku bwa meeya abaali beesimbawo ku bwa meeya omuna NRM Robert Kanusu yalina oluvannyuma olw'okuba nti abeera alumukire mu kooti okuba nga asoomoza ebyo ebyalangirirwa nga Peter Kasolo akobebwa kuba nti ne yabita mu lulukana akobwa meeya omunakibiina kya National Unity Platform ng'abiwakanya akuba nti akalulu kaire mu kubalibwa ono yali wakusatu mu race eyali owookubiri ni Dr. Professor Frank Nabwiso omunakibiina kya FDC kooti bino ebibinze ekobye nti Robert Kanuso ozira budulizi bulaga nti akalulu kano kaalimu emigozo bano polling station za 22 dayenze okwiramu okubala tibisoboike wenaawo omwogezi wa kooti olunaku olwaleero akobye ku kooti tekajjaayo bantu igana ly'abantu nti tugiire kuwulira musango gwa gundi kwatukunganizeeyo kino kikolebwa mu ngeri y'okutaasa eggwanga lino erya Uganda ku isaabaana ery'ekimbe ekya COVID-19 ate nga mu nsonga da kooti dene bugiire okuziba olunaku olwaleero abantu abannakibiina ekya National Unity Platform abawagizi n'abandi ku bamemba abawera 49 abagemebwa mu gutundutundu olwo ogwekalangala olunaku olwaleero baleetebwa mu kooti awo y'ekinamagye nga bano bali kusaba okweyimira ku kakalu ka kooti mulamuzi atyama mu kooti muno yakoba nti General Andrew Guti nti musooke mwireyo paka enaku d'omwezi nga 8 omwezi guno basobola okuba ate nga beetegereza webinaatambula okulonda kubaire okwabavubuka mu regions ed'endawulo era nga ebijja okwongera okuba ate nga bivaayo tudda kwongera okuba nga tubikutuusaako ensonga ningi ino abazaire ne gavumenti bakaali mu katu tuyigulawo amasomero tutayigulawo tuli kulinda omukulembeze ow'eggwanga asobola okuba ate nga munange atukobera ekisembayo kwebyo kubanga neyageigala ddala enaku d'omwezi nga 2 mwezi gwali gwakusatu omwaka oguwaire yakuba nti obukeire 15 obuba amasomero bugolole waka tutaase Uganda ku kimbe kya COVID-19 so mu nsonga eningi dino detuboine ku olwaleero mu studios muno ku Katuuti ninaku omukugu era tulijja kwogera ku nsonga ningi ino obuli akalengeri yekatambwiremu aye nga tulijja kulinga eno ku magezi ag'ekikugu gayambye gati akalulu okutambula gakosiisa gati akalulu okutambula era we tuba tulingirire palamenti y'omukuzi ogw'ekumi tulijja abanaabaka ba palamenti 527 singa President Museveni abaira tayongere okuwongera ku ba ex officials balonda nga isemateeka wamuba kino kijatambula kitya omubaka wajafuna akaira akateesa oba taakafuni owekitiibwa Evans Tabingwa Maganda kwaniriza
Sebo ne yanziza webalirala abawuliza baife mbalamuyisa era kwisusayo ba members of parliament bakulembeza at different levels including the president of the Republic of Uganda abali mu opposition mwisuka akarulu era twayenda kwebaza abalonzi bona
basusiso tirwali lutalo
n'abalonzi bona bebale okuba nga basobola participating in the constitutional right balonda era bayisuke era ku abo bona bali kuuliza program olwaleero baniriza era katusabe nti tudatambulira balala okusobola okuwaya ku bintu ebyendawulo byetuli kujja kwogera.
Okay, nkweyanziza abantu bayinza okuba tebategeire owekitiibwa Evans Tabingwa Maganda nani nze nkomyawo kuwa kitiibwa kyonka.
Okay, nkweyanziza maina gange ni Maganda Evans Tabingwa ndi minister wa ICT and innovation Butembe chiefdom chiefdom eri wansi wa Obwachabazinga era nabanga ndi musada musomesa nasoma ndina bachelor's mu IT era nasoma nafuna masters in software engineering era ndi candidate wa PhD in management information system.
Okay,
ndi musada mfumbo ndina abaana era kodi kyekindi ndoza. That is the brief biography.
Nkatukomenga kwa yonenda tutandikire Uganda buli kaluwe kakubibwa wekawa obesusisa abantu. That's very good. Lwaki akalu mu Uganda luli oti lutalo nti akajamu okujamu omuntu abonera nga alinga agire ku battlefront wekawanga tabisiemu yabonera nga asubibwa wogosome Bible alinga asubibwa atatuuse mu nsi nsuubize. Life has ended there. Obuzibu buli waye
ndowooza obuzibu buli nti amasiga agali kutambuza economy ne proportion ya remuneration in our country yekubire ino kusaidia politics.
Esente dirino
esente bwolinga ku kwegamba the proportionate of
engeri
engabania bwolingirira sente debasasula ba politician engeri oluisi yebagabana byebagabana nga bagireeyo
cyane bajafuna okwere bikumi bisatu.
So koleka even just member of parliament when you look at the whole budget system it means that abantu bafuna hope okuba nti bwoje oli kujja kufunamu and therefore you find that it becomes a do or die. Nikitegera kuba mpera n'okukola analysis. Let me just give you a very brief example nti bwoba ng'otwaire omusomesa ali kusomesa university nga ali lecturer atwaire emyaka over maybe 30 years studying, you understand, to become a professional oba okuba nga ali mukugu in a particular area adda kumaliriza, and then you'll find that the starting salary by the time yali kujja kufa maybe 10 years jasigaiza nga the return on that investment does not come out yet
nga niwe abadikungani.
Yes, abatasobola throughout his life. So ekitegeeza nti mu bantu abali kubaza ebintu ebyamangu mangu bwabona nti bwenja wano nasoma this is what it's gonna cost me yalinga this other side yalinga mu political framework yakoba nti wano bwenjawo in 5 years ndakuba nsobera okuzimba enumba ndakuba nsobera okugula emotoka all those other things. So that's why we are saying that it has become a do or die thing, and I think which is very unfortunate. That's why we are saying that I think we have to sit and be able to redefine.
Is it that possible?
Even the apportioning of some of those resources political, it becomes very hard of how we could be able to prevail over. Kenya, of course, those about that type of commission by measuring in terms of you have a different body that is able to decide on those remunerations. But now in our case, where you have members of parliament deciding maybe how much we should be paid, you never know, maybe you need to have an independent commission to be able to look at what reasons are they paid that amount of money compared to maybe other experts.
Kubanga olingirira nti expense budget sidde yongera every time waida. Nabayindi kulingira mu parliament y'omukuzi ogw'omwenda twakolesa 37 billions okugulira abaka ba parliament y'emmotoka 317 around that total. Mu parliament y'omukuzi ogw'ekumi twabaire mu 64 billions okugulira 490 something but 400 emmotoka. Parliament y'omukuzi ogw'ekumi n'endala tulijja kolesa 165 billions okugulira 527 MPs each jumping out n'obukaire nga 300 n'omusobyo. Era nga kyokobye nti parliament neeteesa ebyo. Era parliament tasobola kwetema ku mukono gugiriisa nekuba nti twekendeezeeko esente. Embeera eyo egyakomawa.
Nze kyendowooza era nga bwe nkukobye, I think ebintu tulina okutamu okulowooza kungi. Okulowooza in a way that ensi eno weetuuse kiboneka oti waliwo ebintu webikolebwa abantu bakola imagination nti oluisi abantu baba tibali kutegeera bulungi ekiri kujja mu maiso. And usually mu lwa management bakyeta complexities and applied systems thinking. Nti mu kutambuza ensi olwaleero especially okutambuza ebibuga, okutambuza such a complex system like government, tosobola kuba n'abantu abali ku looking at government in detached, like ngolina departments ediri detached. Yes, you cannot look at these different components of government nga diri detached diri gemagana. Mbera ano oluisi kiba kyetaagisa obukugu obwetaagisa okulinga kino ng'ekitongole. It is one organization, but it's having very many complex entities. Ediri kwegemyako edetaaga okutegeera dona so that wokola decision from point A esobola okuba ne effect ku gundi zino dona. I will go for decision ngoli kulinga just in one angle. Now, like for example, when you make only political decisions, you get the type of problems we have. Kuba no lwaleero ntine ebizibu in this country, we have had elections, but everybody still is looking at political solutions. Olikitegera
linga the center of decision.
The center, but you see, you have to be able to balance all these, even the people themselves. Everything that you look, everybody thinks that again you will need, you have political problems, you still need political solutions, but then there are times when you need to be able to look at these other parts of economy, these other parts of, individualism, this other part of private sector. You understand what I mean? So that osobola okutegeera nti obuzibu bwe tulinabu buli kuvaaba.
But mu Uganda kisobola okweyagana nti oyogere ku institutions nti tidige magana wazirawo kadigere. Kwa ne president avirenga ngayogera ku nsonga nti mulundi mulala.
Yes.
Akaluwa kali kakawa special jawe ganzi jina kuba nti yali mukambwe.
Correct.
Yakola babaka ba parliament mulekere okweyongeza ngesente ne dala allowance. And it is like the third time. But political decision, politics to abakola decision mu country, the head of state ashogeire. Obuzibu buvaawa tibakamulira yena.
I think I would say I'll be very honest on this point. I would think that we are in a situation where even the president would wish for certain things. Kwegamba yandibairenga yandienze ebintu okutambula in a certain manner. Ayenga chenkubi echa complex systems. Ndimpera anati amolusi ku state house. Yakoba nti I think this is what I want.
Yeah.
Ayempera no yaluko kutegera nti sometimes you need critical mass of people. Abali kutegera kyoli kwogera. Number 2, wetaaga system esobola okuyamba kuba you can't be everywhere. Chenkukobye nti this is a very complex network.
Pipe ya madi ya kutuka teka atambukiza ona.
Not necessarily okutuka. Kiba kiritegeeza nti mpera ano kwembanga I'm the overall boss here. I'm overseeing Ginger City. Nabanga ndi ideas. Bwembanga nzira abantu abasobola okutegeera kyendi kwogera ku number 1. ekyokubiri naaba nga ndi systematic in what I'm communicating. However good I am, the system will get frustrated. Number 2, bwemba nga nzira intelligence system of getting some information in real time or timely updates, timely updates. Chiba kitegeeza ndi I'm going to effect certain decisions ng'obwire buweireyo. Bwemba nga nkali analyzing the type of leaders we are having and making them to bring them on board to understand. Kuba mpera, I will give you an example. Olwaleero tulonza abakulembeze, we are very happy tumaze okulonda. But ekibuuzo kiri nti, when you bring these leaders on board, does it mean they are automatically leaders?
We assume. You
assume, and that is now where we go wrong. Kuba mpera, if you vote Maganda today, I might come from my village in Bupadengo, and I only know Bupadengo. I've not even crossed Jinja to go to Kampala. And I'm still internalizing the workings of my village. I do not even have an idea of how the international, leadership system works. I do not have an idea of how this country operates. I do not have an idea how Jinja municipality works. I do not have an idea of how the village and whatever system works. But you make an assumption, kuba banonze, I already know what I'm going to do. But do you need, once you have these people on the ground, don't make assumptions. This is an error, it's a complex error. Take these people on board, train them, give them enough time to understand. Don't make assumptions. Kuba you are going to start implementing a program waigulu, ngona yao nabali nemize ejo gema mu bintu bali abali kuyiya tunagema kuchi. You understand what I mean? Oloka ayogera ku bintu bya GDP talina kutegeera biki byoli kwogera. Oli mukoba mortality rate tali kutegeera kyoli kwogera. Oli mukoba, so you can see what we are talking about. Oka alina kumwa statistics edigema like statistics about the country. Oka alina mukoba locally where he is, because we even have people who do not even have statistics about their own place which they are leading. Because
nebitundu ebindi ti birungi mu kusoloza statistics, so inzo butanenya muntu kubanti abise.
So that is not only a problem locally, it is a national problem, because we assume that everybody who has come on board, watuleteire Maganda wechitivo okuva gundi, that is very good. Let him come on the table, because now this is a national cake. When Maganda comes on board, you have not even been able to analyze the capacity of Maganda to lead. You have not you don't even have a minimum package. Joe Cobant, member of parliament. This is a minimum information package about our country. This is a minimum package about
Baba dino busomi, at least to cover abe kune senior 6. If I'm let me kirizanti was senior 6 ali asobola okuba ku exposure.
Never over exposure. That is why I'm talking about the systematism. Oboyingire mukulembeze. You are not always there. Those are not things you have been in. You are now getting interested in that area because you have taken that leadership. So that's why we are saying, don't make assumption that these are leaders that they will be able to understand. Make deliberate measures to say it. Now we have abakulembeze, we have members of parliament. This is the minimum information package for members about the current status of the country. Tulina municipalities, this is the minimum history about Jinja municipality and what has been happening, the dynamics affecting. So when you are starting, turn kirawano and let somebody at least have, and then groom people in leadership. Just the same way other places in developed countries, what they do.
Kampumule mu katone dashika didi asatu divide okusawa ina edogo irobona ku olwaleero oli ku platform nsonga dinzo okukalubira ino okutegeera alidamaliza mwami Evans Tabingwa Maganda akoba tutenga woko badi today interview kyo omuntu akujja mu parliament tumubuze kuko nange ebintu ebifana bityo bidi kudhani okutuwe sente kino kinasoboka ati kisoboke ndikwira tavao. Kweyanziza okalinimpe the platform oli ku Baba TV eyobwachabazinga unakulwa lero unakulwa Monday unakulwa balaza enakudomwezi didi lulala omwezi gwa kubiri omwaka guno 2022 nyize Sam Omwesigwa omuweerezaawo buli lwa balaza tubaawo twayongera okubaako n'ensonga detugayagaya detumunamunamu wasobola okuba ate ngobaako nisootegeera ebintu ebifaana biti ebiseera ebisinga abakulembeze n'abo abantu betwesiga tebatera kuba nakaire kubitukobera kubanga n'awaani tubanga tuzirabwire biwulirisa bataye akaire akafaana kati twongera okuba ate nga tukwebaza kubanga otaayo essuubi n'ebirowoozo wategera amatu watuulirisa Oweekitiibwa Evans Tabinga Maganda gwe ninaye tulikulingirira ku nsonga ey'abakulembeze betulonda tubalonda twamaliriza nga kunkumu ntukobe nti batukoleire butyayo obuzibu buvaawa mu kitundu kyaffe ekisoose atulaze nti abakulembeze bangi bajja baalondebwa aye ng'ekifo kibali kujaamu kankitamiize nti kankobe nti kiyinza okuba kibasinga obuba ng'aye alamuiza yakuba nti nze ndijja mu paalamenti aye nga omubuuza GDP ya Uganda eri etya Uganda n'ebintu ebitono ino obuuzaaku nti aye Uganda tuyemererawo ku sente de tufuna divaawa ebintu ebifaana bityo amabanda ga Uganda tulijja gakola tutya ebintu ebiboneka oti bineno ojja kweyagana ng'omuntu oyo yakulembeddwa mu paalamenti tabitegeera yes ebintu ebisinga mu paalamenti omuntu tibazaalibwayo nti baba betegeera byonna byonna bataye wabaaku ni basics ndowooza edodda oli kwogeraku kozi omuntu ayinza okuba nti titwazaalibwa mu paalamenti titulina ategeera procedures and policies and set of laws but at least eiwanga lyebindi ku bintu ebyo nga obitegeera mbona oti ekintu ekyo kizibu abantu nga tulijjalonda abakulembeze kubanga twamaze okulonda singa wali wano nga tukaali kulonda oboolyawo wandibeire otukobera omumaka wa paalamenti nga tujamulonda cause ni center of decision in the country tulingirire ekintu
kyendikwenda just okwadijustinga nzira problem ni capacity ya mubaka gwoli kulonda I'm not debating about kuba abantu baba balonze omuntu baba bamulonze lwakwenda oli kitegeera era omuntu oyo democratically aba atukiriza ebisaanirizo ebyaki ebiriwo so aba ali qualified in that regard the problem gyendu kwogera ku nti omuntu oyo bwaba amaze okuba qualified to become what he is meant to be then system ediriwo they are supposed to empower him to become what he is supposed to be in a way chendi kumpera. Let me give you an example of members of parliament. We have parliamentarians abavile in different constituencies. They have all come with the minimum qualifications. I chendi kobanti for them to debate effectively for this nation, for them to represent the people effectively, balina okubanga bali trained again, not before but after. Balina okubanga bafuniye orientation. Just forget about orientation, but deliberate training, continuous training. Okubasomesa what is Uganda, okubasomesa what is East African Federation, okubasomesa what is the vision for African whatever, okubasomesa anti how are we positioned with the others. Then no kuba izayo on the statistics edigema ganani constituency jakolechi javam omuntu ono okusobola okutegeera where his constituency lies in the big global map.
Songa tajigerangeranya na constituency dindi alingira Uganda yaingira East Africa yaingira Africa.
Correct.
Constituency.
Exactly. Mpera nature, what it helps is that when the person is empowered with all this pyramid of information, aba alina obusobozi obw'okutegeera challenges ediva mu gundi ye, maybe what he needs to borrow from other place to bring on board. Yategeera and maybe now when we talk in East Africa, asobola okutegeera nti okay tuli wano nga Uganda, but why are we not doing something the way Rwanda is doing? Olichitegeera yaba that critical thinking question. So when he's going to debate, it will not be a matter of you coming there and they say that I ngai wostula omukono nga you say baba ire bako babatia and then you vote. You understand? Kuba the truth is that you idio vile in your constituency you have nothing to compare with. Kuba somebody made an assumption that because bakulonda as a member of parliament or they voted you as a mayor, you know everything. You understand? And it's not in bad faith. We're just saying that these are deliberate measures that must start they must start putting in place.
Mu Uganda biliwo.
Bizirawo chendi kukoba. bizirao, and I think it's not, it's by the way, it's an emerging area also in the discipline of management, in the discipline of equipping people, and you know, when you want to create change, under complexities and applied systems thinking, these problems are not only even in government, even in organizations. We now get managers out of an organization and they completely have no idea about no, by the management ayenga kuba bazira comprehensive all-round information about departments, even decisions they make in that whatever dijada akolachi but ukere maiso, and they have what they call that fixes that fail. You try to fix this, you find it's not working. You fix this, it's not working. Because nga kwegamba information jewe tago kukola decision. Kuba once you, if you are trying to make decisions, you must have sources of competent information. And it's that competent, it's not just a matter of making decision. Tibwa akustuka akobanti, I have voted. You must be able to analyze, I'm voting over what? Exactly, kijja kuyamba kitya abantu abewaife. That's why you see, I think as we are going to talk about the prototype of the system we are talking about, I'll be able to elaborate what we are trying to do too. That information right now, tosobola kulinda kuweereza abantu reports after 1 year, 2 years. Information eda kubanga yafuka obsolete. Yes. Nga tukali tukawo. Yes.
Kyokoba mu nsonga eno nti mu constituency tulonda abaka ba parliament, fetu abata mu parliament.
Correct.
Twamaliza nga kye twasuubira titukifunye.
Correct.
Tunenya government netabatendeike basobola oba mu parliament bakola ekisaanyi oba tunenya bo bene.
Mpera those are different whatever. The answer is yes and no. It is yes and no. Kuba yes and no in a way that mpera bwobuuza, for example, I always see the president struggling ngaliko bantu mwana ondera ne mundetera abantu abachamu, those who are saying those who are in the government are not doing the right thing. I will tell you confidently olwalero some of the challenges we are facing in this country still later, whether you will remove the president, of course you will want also to bring other people to try it up. I still, if you don't tackle these things we are talking about, if you're making sure that we are systematic systems in place, you make sure that people have certain level of information or kutegera what is going on to be able to be in leadership positions. Even if you brought another person, and I want, so you know, you have been here long enough. You will realize that the problems people immediately they finished voting 2001, 2006, 2011, 2016. Do you realize that the pattern of problems and crying is the same?
Ngatuwakamala kulonda.
Yeah.
No,
and chetuliko bandi you are excited, and I'm not talking only about the presidency. Kuba ife tuliwano. Tuliwano tulimuidinda. Yeah? But you will still find that there are still so many things. Some of the problems that were crying in 2001, crying us, most of them even today. You will find that some of those problems, we even had budgets. Why were those things not put in place? Now abantu bene abasinga the wanainjis that we have, do they even know what is happening at the town hall there? So chibachitegeza
bo balindirira kubona the service delivery in physical
and kakati physical
nenda mbone
development is very gradual. Chenkukobye kuba bwoboliko bebintu bya GDP, bwoboliko ba employment rate, bwoboliko ba life expectancy, bwoboliko ba mortality rates, olichitegera bwoboliko ba things to do with income, net income and equality and stuff like that. Those are the things that are used in what we call inclusive development index. Kuba olwalero, as we talk World Economic Forum, we have about 11 of those indices that are used okutegera ndensi eri kutambula, but those are not things chibachitegeza nti ebe ebintu bija on a gradual form. Baby etaga input of things everybody is doing. In fact, ena kujino lwachi bakachusa kuba before we used to talk about GDP wajireka ngeri separate, wakoba mortality wajireka separate, baidaba atandika okwogera about what they call human development index, nga balinga ku lifestyle, balinga ku health, balinga ku education. Olichibona. Mperano, they are now looking at those 11. Olichitege. But you see, for you to be able to get an aggregate of that, for you to be able to say this country is doing well, those are some of the things abandi bali kuja kuona, but they come slowly by slowly, but they must be systematic. So chitegeza, so chibachiti abantu batono bachitegera okutola ku maybe some few politicians aye kuba ba politicians bona bachidi nti omuntu wa wansi does he is even bothered about this by daba jaba koleo something, but this is information everybody needs.
Ande bitibona obuzibu bwe bulini wano buti yaba byogera mu luzungu.
Correct.
Yakuba life expectancy.
Correct.
Nti omuna Uganda awangala paka ku myaka emeka era abana Uganda tukendezizaamu ku emyaka egy'okuwangala. Obuzibu buvaawa. Then twalingira ku nsonga ed'ebyendegeresa nti wedde bansonga d'ebyendegeresa abantu balisoma era bwe babanga balisoma basobola okusoma baabotola mortality rate abantu kuba fiira nti endwaire eddirwaza abantu abaana abato n'abakyala nti wobize eno omuntu bimugema kwino koza abantu batuga nti abantu tuli kufa ino sesitwita
right
okitegera abantu tuli kusoma ayi batono abamala ku baana bamwe batandika P1 abatandika P1 tina abamala ekyomusanvu nti edde ensonga luli omumaka wa parliament balina oditeekeza mu parliament ati kyenkubuuziza bwe batabiteesa nga tebabitegeire kubanga tebabatendeka omusango gwani bava twakoba nti Maganda twamulonda iti yatukolera ayenga yaletaidde kyakwogera mu parliament tuba tuneniani.
So mperano kyenkobye that it is on different fronts. Number one, of course kyona kiba kiri nti still it comes also from government. Yeah, reasons which will not have very clear reasons, but it's not sometimes that it's intentional. It simply means sometimes that abantu abalikola certain things, they have not been able to embrace modern practices of managing. When you're you are preoccupied, vicious cycle. When people come, you keep on doing the same thing. If it is in Ginger municipality, the technical people who are there, they bring people on board. It's orientation. You come, the office is here, you are the mayor. Then when you become the mayor, you know that you start the meetings. There is nobody there who thinks that, okay, you know, they call it like organizational memory. Wawerezo muntu briefs, wamuereza, you know, ebintu ebiri critical. Yaba nga asobola okubitegeera, wamuereza brief on maybe all those projects. But because also of the politics that is involved, there are people who will not want to bring those details of stories, because once they have ejected tibenda the secrets that were appearing before Donald Kolechi, so even here at municipality, you will still have the same thing. Even if you went to national, those dynamics are still coming in place. I am later open systems, which people in advanced countries use, and I don't know why we are not able to utilize that here.
Because we are a developing country.
No, we are a developing country, but there are things we are not going to assume. I will tell you, you know why social media is a big problem today? Because it provides, no, it's an advantage, but it's also a problem. Kuba, it fixes the part that we are not fixing. Abantu abali mu bukulembeze. It's able to provide information, instant information that comes from people. In fact, we're able to generate our own news in real time. So what happens that every time somebody wakes up, he's expecting to get updates from where?
Across.
But then wobuza nti when, for example, do we get reports on on key government sectors about what is going on? Either you have to go
on statistics one, because tukola amawulire.
Correct.
Oja katukube Ministry of Defense. Atujja mu police. Twenda tubone emisango ejabaire wo mukaira akakalulu jabaire emekera misango kikashi. wotamu report yebayo ebe ya 2019 ngane ya 2020 ezirayo.
So chetuliko band, these are things we need to start thinking about before our country goes into.
Abanyaganda tukayitegera technology oba tuli baba nafuino okubanga tukolesa technology mu bintu ebyenda.
I think those are we are taking things for granted. That will be my submission. And then we've closed, I think like we have closed our heads into so many things. It's still on the same thing, like I told you, we have had an ensonga ya COVID. Amagundi gona masomero gabanga gavireku. Gali closed. Abantu, I remember that I have gone in places ngandi kuwereza abantu an idea of coming up with a common platform, jemutao content. Abana babanga basobola okujja kubakola some little subscription and would have our children would have university students being able to now you can see that we still have higher institutions of learning. It is a way platform. We don't need that. I mean,
but the government yatongoza online studies jagabira abantu ready.
Online gundi eyo tulikoba ya abana below. I mean, abana bakoze gundi. But the government brought up the ODEL. We have the open and distance and e-learning.
Yeah.
Okay. Framework eyo kusomesa abana. But even after giving a chance that you can have now e-learning, we still have universities that have not been able to put this in place. But now, why do you want to pretend that a single university should have the infrastructure on its own in a developing country? Can't we think that as Ugandans, we are in a developing nation? Lwaki tutukolayo platform nga government mwakoba nti bana we have experts mukolayo platform eri universal, then university disobola okusasula bwa subscription.
You understand?
In fact, when you go there, there is academic freedom. You understand?
The government?
But academic freedom as, like every university, they want it to be independent. But you see, that is pretense. Because resources are quite a problem. Yes, they are private. They are struggling. They cannot be able to meet this minimum. So why don't you create, okay, if it is private universities, make a platform for all private universities. Bring students who are about 1 million, you will have, the cost of whatever will be down because you have developed one common platform. Bring these students to access this platform. They pay minimum fee.
But the government is
and where it comes that when you try to penetrate those decision levels, sometimes for people to appreciate what you are saying, it's another thing. That because you find when there are systems of how people have done their budgets, now that one, it is not going to whatever, like even bringing that idea, you must have convinced, I don't know, you still need some other technical people to convince, still people see.
Yeah,
but you go 1 year, you are still struggling as a nation. Sometimes abantu bat faulting but you people ICT, mwasoma ICT ya chikaji. But you see, you are trying to bring these ideas, but because these ideas don't make sense to some people somewhere, still the idea is flopped. So you you get frustrated, and it's the same thing even in development. Politics. Other than all of us concentrating our problems and solutions on politics, we need to embrace alternative means of how other people can participate in the development of this country. It doesn't mean if we have voted leaders, we do not have ideas that we can bring on the table okuyamba government ya ifolichitegera. So mwaleka ebizibu ebisinga mulibireka, make it political question. There are people who have so many ideas. So we need also to find alternative ways of compressing.
But the audience and they don't have the power of decision.
Abaliwa.
Banabandi abatali in politics.
So that's why we are saying now we have made everything to be, and you see politics is a solution. Kubanga politics, you don't have to struggle with qualifications. Yeah? But for me, currently I pay my PhD over $1,000 per month. Sometimes I have even to borrow money. $1,000. Edo million maker. So edo differently. You understand what I mean? Ideas dendina doni injino. Ayo dakweyagana ng'oli kuleta ideas okola gundi bakuba nti eyo municipality yakoze gundi oli kutwalere ku national gundi. You are having, in fact, So you find that sometimes the ideas dolina kuleta ku table, they would go as successful as somebody repeating what you want to say.
So olina okuba nga oli mu position ya olina wamuna byabufuzi.
Wamuna byabufuzi because of the fears that come with maybe your electorate and whatever by dakoba nti oyo mueki. So aona tulina obuzibu. So mperano n'ensonga lwaki oli kubonanga nti when the elections come kasitabiwa, when people have lost hope ndi abantu baibwe tebabiseemu, then abantu bali kugema ebijambia because they don't think that they have an alternative route of the ideas coming up. Olichitegeera esubiriweeyo olichitegeera
weewaawo mbuza eddakiika 2 ntuuka ku ssaawa 8 d'obwire obwonaku olwaleero Musoga yalugera nti emboozi tebankaire agiwaya n'agikeeyisa kampumulemu katono wetunaabatuize mu ssaawa yaffe esembayo tulijja kuteisira nsonga gye tuli kwenda okwogerako olwaleero Uganda twalonze abaka ba palamenti abasoba 5 banaasobola oteesa mu palamenti bonabona olunaku bateesa bameka oba n'abati baateese abandi bajja kwogera ki alternative kyeriwo mwami ono ankobye nti bali kuyiyayo science ng'omuntu asobola okuteesa nga tagiire mu palamenti awo wendikwira tavaawo Nkwesusa omukumula okali ku Baba TV abantu abali mu kibuga eky'e Kampala abantu abali mu Central, Western, Southern, Eastern nongera okubate nga mbeebaza olunaku olwaleero bitundu ebisinga mu region zeedu bali kulonda abakulembera abavubuka era wano mu Central nina amawulire ge bali gendifunanga wano kyomuna NRM talikola bubi kyetulowooza nti munange katubasabire kubanga nti akalo kano naimwe abakulembeze betuli kwogeraku nti bw'obanga ogire mu bukulembeze tegera nti abaakutwala weetibaiddi by'ojja kuteesa weetibaiddi y'oli kujja ayiwe biduubu bwe bwebanga tibali bibona mu services ngeza kye babwine mu myaka 5 bedde akutoolayo ng'era ebigambo bye bali kukoba oyinza okuba nga bye bali kukoba bona bye bali kukoba olibonera nga tibaiddi kye bali kwogera ngeiwe obona nga kyewakola n'ekituufu ayibo bona babana engeri ye bataaminga mu ebyaibwe nalingiriranga abantu nga batoolayo abantu ab'endawulo gundi tatukoleire gundi tatukoleire n'atuuka obuuza omuntu ondi nti mwamutumaki ati feze kye twamutumaye bandibeere ku kye bakola ebintu biri tayira tatukoleire so all leaders tusobola okuba ate nga twegenderezanga n'ensonga edo owekitiibwa Evans Tabingwa Maganda gwe ninaye ku platform yonaku olwaleero tuli kulingena abakulembeze betulonda nti oluvannyuma lw'ebbanga nga myaka 5 kuba nti eza kye baakola aye obuzibu bwawa buba ku mukulembeze buba yajja not only parliament tuyinza okuba tuliteesera ku parliament niiwe ssentebe wa district ate kubanga kabirimu ekiswika ino baisentebe ab'amagoloza bameeya ab'ebibuga mulimu abayaka abaidi mube cautious ino ku nsonga eno mwami Evans Parliament tulinamu ababaka ba Parliament 15 na musobyo tubairenga mu ne 14 list daida rankings ati bano n'abasinze at least 100 bakuleetera abatayogera kuwaire n'ekigambo kiti kuno ne betulina 15 nga ne Parliament ko nti eri abajooteekeza mu lukuubo mpaako ekifaananyi ekya Parliament eyo y'abantu 15
I think those are the challenges that we need to recover. Era I would agree those are going to be guarantee it is becoming worse. Kuba a parliament, I think it was made twatandika ngeri parliament y'abantu it was for 82. Twayongeza but those it's as if we never think what is going to happen.
Tuseno okuzimba ekizimbe twakigaziya
olikitegera so era kusaawa eno ndowooza is where we are bringing proposals kuba mpera niffe titutenduka yes our hearts are bleeding and we are also thinking that what can we do to make a contribution kuba sometimes olowooza nti maybe President Museveni nakoze ati, maybe aba opposition tebalikola gundi enough. I always abantu babaawo nga bali stuck. Over sometimes, like I've said, there's actually, I don't remember who, there's a scholar who said that the way you see is the way you don't see. Ndi engeri yobonamu n'ensonga lwaki tobona by'oli supposed okubona. Oli kitegera kyendiko?
Kubanga engeri yobonamu ebintu.
Yes.
N'ensonga lwaki tobona by'oyenda abona.
Actually, just in the engeri yobonamu ebintu. Engeri yobonamu n'ensonga lwaki toli kubona.
Kirimu olukolosofi lungi.
Anti olukolosofi likoba nti mbera n'obwoba nti oli let's take an example of this studio. That if I have paid attention of looking at that camera in front there. The truth is that I am seeing the camera, I can describe what is on the camera, but I can't describe what is at the back of. You understand what I mean? So oyo scholar kyali alitegeeza nti don't fix your eyes on one thing because the world is continuous. You must have the ability to scan and then you talk. Because it means that the very reason, so it means that that's why Choli kubona ndi kobanga ndi, if you start looking at everything to be political, then you are going to see every problem being political, and then you lose the aspect of looking at these other sectors.
Now just take an example. President Museveni as the fountain of honor, neyegalawo amasomero, guided by Minister of Health.
Correct.
Ti Minister of Health neyavaawo n'akoba iwanga nti nga ife abasawo tubwoyinenga tikiisoboke baana kukola ki kuba mu masomero. Twalinda kigambo kya president, the politician.
Yes.
Era cabinet neinumaawo we bali bakuba ntugwe amasomero buli omu alikoba tuli kulinda kigambo kyani kya president, the politician. N'ababaka ba parliament bayise Entebbe Welles nti buli kimu omukulembeze omunabyabufuzi n'alina okuvaayo n'ayogera n'alina audacity mu Uganda wano okwogera decision eba authentic. Ekyo tujja kikyusa tutya nga tubwene ni kirasi y'abandi ku bakulembeze.
Okay, ekyo bwe nkiringamu on another side because him being a fountain of honor aba new authority kuba always we presume that aba afunye advice kuba ekya COVID. Maybe we will say that Uganda egezizaako ekyo kyo for sure. The country yagezaako olikibona aye ndowooza maybe kiwandiko bye nti amidst all these closures n'abantu kuba dissatisfied, what will we do olikitegere kuba now as we are talking today balikoba nti tuwe ku 3 months tubone what is going to happen. We are aware that I think there are about 9 million gundi vaccines ediri kwida mu March. We are 44 million people. Ekyo kikuwa calculation. So if you break down what agera when all these vaccines will come, then COVID is not something that is actually going very soon. Ekitegeza the reality perano if abantu abatiyama ku statistics nga bwe nkukobi mba antegera ndi COVID yono this whole year still wakuba naye olikitegera. So ekitegeza nti also instead of managing this thing politically with giving people always hope and code to lijakola tuti that is not going to come soon.
Cabinet is soon.
Yes.
Something
so,
is soon.
But, okay, but that sometimes is to make sure people kuba era nze nebaza kuba I think at that time when the thing came you will be like okay bali kuja kwigulawo after 2 weeks, after 2 weeks, but we are still now with the COVID. So but chendigezako kuba nti we still need to find a way of expanding our solutions and also the way the president gets what is happening to the people. Kuba oli kubona nabo ine recently nga bali kukola analysis I think mu caucus about the Uganda issue, talking about land eviction. Did the land eviction start in this term?
Chiditandisa mu this term, but disobola kuba dibayemo worse.
So the point I'm trying to say, n'ensonga ya COVID yonka tyabo ine ko omuntu eyalese analysis that COVID had this social economic impact on this election. I have not found anywhere. If it is there, you correct me. I okulaga nti tuzira abantu abakugu abali ku analyzing ensonga If for example the president had whatever had me to give him the statistics, as COVID has been locking down the economy, nobody has been trying to track the impact of what this was doing to people. Kuba abantu abali kuniga negundi with their whatever abasomesa olwaleero, I know of universities which were paying a certain amount of money ainga bali kusasula 10% of that salary. Do you expect ndio yo muntu adakuwereza government yakadulu? I know of people whose loans government, banks baba wakugundi ya 3 months bakoba nti katubawe ku some time to whatever. I know olwaleero still alikusasulwa 10%. The banks renewed the loans.
Muntu yajaba n'obusungu.
Ajaba n'obusungu. Now, ekibuzo kiriti.
Business egala wo muntu ya resuminga nga azira wali kutandikira we.
Ekitegeeza nti there is somebody who is not in touch of reality. There is somebody who is not taking serious whatever with the job.
But at least ebyo bintu nkutegeera ensonga yo, particularly ku COVID.
So and mperano kyendigezaako okuba nti I would have expected an explanation analysis in regard to COVID. Kuba when COVID came, it actually shut the economy. After shutting the economy, we have certain people who are still nekyo mperano kyobona nti they can even close some other gundi nga ni president maybe yerabira nti still I have closed this kuba wazira omundu ali muwanga that regular statistics and it still comes to the statistics then kukobyenga it is sometimes okuba in real time or which must be in small chunks okuba ngo osobola following what we are happening. So kitegeeza nti you can carry out an action on one side, you don't even have an idea of what impact it has, or you have people who do not take trouble to find out the impact of every action you put in place. Olikitegeera kuba mpera ano bwoba nti omuntu alina abaana awaka okumala almost 1.5 year tategeire ebya COVID ali kubonanga buli muntu ali kutambula in whatever they
yet mulimu fa
tumulimu lowooza ku and you are not bothered to explain what is happening. Olikibona bana abasomesa bali wano oliko ba nti the economy abantu bali kutambula kuba so long as you are seeing people on streets then there is nobody carrying out intelligence reports okutegeera nti now as we open how many of these people are still constrained. Kuba boliko ba nti population y'abaana okusoma bali 15 million. Do you know what that means?
It's a big population.
It is a big problem. Mpera ano bwotwala abo ataako abasomesa bayi. Do you know what it means? Mpera ano bali n'abaana bayibwe. Do you know what that means?
Take service
so mpera ano bwokukola yo social stress wagiringamu ne impact jekoze mu kalulu kano. Wabona nga there is nobody who is able to understand the impact of COVID on the outcome of the elections we have had. Abantu batandika okunoonya nti code ABCD. Then it means that we are not in touch with the things on the ground. Or sometimes when we get to people, instead yokubuza abantu nti ensonga kyedi baluma, it still comes to still asking the politicians the problems. Era bakuwa problems de balozisa political. Okay. So it means that you still bring in whatever political problems, then you are still also looking at political solutions and you're not getting to the actual issues on the ground.
Dasika diri 16 ne divide okusawa 8 edobwiri. Songa da tabingwa nze ndiditegera. Tidio bayi woliditegera. Atugema wano twagema wale. Tusobola okuba atenga tukulaga Uganda bwe litambula. Eyo ni Uganda yeni. Mwami ono ndamuyizanga tusobola okuba atenga tuwaya mu nsonga ningi ino. Tusobola abimala lwaleero lunka cause bingi. Twogera ku reality eri mu Uganda. Mbe nendo ntwale wali. Chanda lwese muyiyiza chemuli kuyiyiza parliament yenu. Chemuli kufumba. Mutuleetere n'ebizibu ze nakankogereku. Abana science n'aba IT. Musirikirire ino bizibu mu Uganda muno muli oti muziramu.
Mpera ano mugundi PhD je nsoma. Bakoba nti PhD for social change. For us tubapima PhD okusinzira ku mpapula. Tubapima PhD okusinzira to the social value joleta whatever problem you solve. So mpera ano bana bayirenga ndi mugundi yange ya last quarter n'ebizibu bino ebiri kujja mu maiso naawulira ba parliamentarians. I think ni reason naawulire maama waife Kadaga ng'ali kwogera ku I think the issue of quorum, yayogera ku issue of people being absent. Naawulira I think the former speaker yena ng'ali kwogera I think over a similar thing. In my head na running in very fast nakoba ndi mulembe guno nife mperano ba ICT. You understand? So when we think every time that in relation to what we are doing, we can be able to come up with a solution. And one of the solution, prototype, na developing a prototype.
Chicho tegezi.
Kwegamba chiringa okutao ekintu ekyokubonerwa ku engeri ekintu kino ekiri kujja kutambula. Oli kitegeera. Mperano mu system muno twa designing ekintu twasoka twebuuza ebibuuzo nti muna ba parliamentarians bano okuva bwentandiko okuba no mu Uganda evidence ya ba parliamentarians bano bye bateesa ng'abantu individually eriga ebirowoozo abantu bye basindika ne kubagiza kwegamba n'alinga muko nakuba ndi menze ni member of parliament wange ebintu bimeka bye namusindika ku okujja okuteesa muki parliament ekyokusatu bwe mba ndi kwenda kutegeera parliament okupininga oba finding accountability ya parliamentarian gundo okutola ku Hansard ediri long and completely defined. How do I pin him with the responsibility of my constituency? Not yes nakutuma bino so mperano mu system eyo the one that I'm proposing, which I'm actually yet to present. I have already written I think to the Speaker of Parliament and I've also presented it before the President's office. Mperano kyetuligezaako okukoba wano nti tusobole okudesigninga yo system accountability. Let us not wait for accountability at the time of elections. Okay? Bwe kiba nti okoze system eno omuntu atendenzi apart from the normal gundi tulina system I think I've forgotten the name what they call it. Ereta those reports per year on performance report ya members of parliament. But that is time too long. We need to make sure yes okwasesinga kunkomerero y'omwaka. In today the complexity system you don't make those type of long reports because people would have done so many fishy things. You understand? Yes. So mperano what we have done is that system weno esobola okutrackinga attendance ya buli member. Eno system esobola okuyamba member ndi bw'abayidi okuteesa ensonga de before atuuke mu session asobola okusindika edda ensonga ng'akalina kutuuka mu parliament
ng'adisindikirani
mperano ku system nkuko byendi mperano tulina system tutawo interface ya member of parliament ndi ninze Maganda mva Butembe mva Mugundi mperano twataawo ndi mu system eno buli member of parliament alina obusobozi obw'okufuna ebiduubo ebiri kuva mu balonzi kuba ekyo kyona twamaze okirealizinga nti member of parliament machas tulikwogera ku byesente azira financial resource capacity ey'okutambula ku ba members of parliament 500 ndi ali kunoonya biki members of parliament tuboine ba members of parliament whom even their voters never see them nga bakoze eki mperano no member of parliament always it is because of the resource envelope. Mperano tusobola okulimitinga ekyo nti ono member of parliament omuntu asobola okumusindikira ku platform eyo issues ebigemagana nga bava mu constituency mperano yeye ajja mu gundi eyo mu pool of issues ne bw'abanga tabitwaire byona yalinga mu yakuba nti raise kino yabya amalgamate nga yabintegrate nga yafura maybe ebintu 10 kumukutugula ogwa parliament yasindika ebyo ebintu okujewani mu office ya speaker
nga constituency
yakoba ndinze constituency yange y'Ebutembe ndese ensonga dange 10 dido yadita ku mukutu mperano bwe dituka mu parliament the parliament erina okubanga esobola mperano mu system eyo yene nti omuntu asobola bwembanga nti aimewa no kasta speaker afuna ideas edivire mu bantu 521 asobola okugema button yata ku button ya Eastern Central Gundi aye bwagema ku button eyo egema ebidubo byabo ba members of parliament in that region kabiri ya upgrading in terms of
over types.
Yes, in terms of types.
Nti oba abogere kubyendegeresa abogaire ku byobulamu abogaire ku mbeera d'abantu
olikitegera. So in other words yaba ng'akoze eki asoboire okubikategorizinga in that order. Olikitegera. So in a way that you can now have an informed position of what is coming from the constituencies. You can have
ekyo kibaire nga kizirawo
kibaire kizirawo
baba waipadi dachi
echi iPad is just general. It doesn't have the ability of managing that information. Yes. About just general information, but we are talking about an information system for that matter. Yes.
So but enkole eyo gy'olukwogeraku oidi challenge tulina mu Africa wano nti buli shida na sente. Parliament inoti ya mechibikize budget yacho era budget yacho wenabe ekizirawo gizirawo baniwiru ingezirawo ngekyo kidemi okukirikiriza kwasho obulamu bwasho buli butya n'okutandika kwasho kiri kitya okusobola okuyamba Uganda.
Mperano the issue at least tulina starting point.
Okay.
Kuba bwenkubuza ekibuzo whether that type of idea has been there. Era you will know that it has not been there. So at least okutegeera nti waliwo abantu abali deliberate on that order. Abali kulowooza of what they could be able to do and make that contribution. That is a starting point. It is a matter y'okutyama abantu bategeera nti okay mwakitaawo abantu bakuba ndi ffe tusobola okwongezaako kino tusobola okwongezaako kino therefore we are able to move. Okay. Yes. So we cannot fail. Kuba some of us, as we have said, we are working for social change and we want to make sure we can make an improvement. Kuba aliwo ebintu byobona in our country and you wonder whether, tulina abantu abali who are bleeding for the country or not. But we can't keep on having those type of things. And some of these things we have been able to benchmark in other places. Ekirungi mbera ne mikutu je tusomera ku giri international mwaja mugundi waleeta project osomye n'abaana bali kukola mugundi mu Google abali kola mu engineering departments Microsoft and we are able to get so many ideas that can actually help our country. Olikitegera. So for us we are ready to be able to come on board. Ne speaker yena kibachi muyamba ndi asobola okutyama ati akoba nti bana ensonga da western diriki yatamu ya niga bwa button ebintu byona byone bya western in priority byaida
apart from
niga antugun then member of parliament osobola okufuna dashboard yosobola okutegeera nti buna member of parliament wange yatendinga ku mirundi 10 ono yatendinga ku mirundi 3 ono yatendinga ku you understand and also tulikutao what we call the remote attendance or virtual attendance. Kuba olwaleero there is no reason why you should write for quorum. Buli member of parliament watyama olina okutaawo screen. So sometimes you find that the reason why some members of parliament are not able to be in parliament, maybe he's in jam, or maybe ali mu constituents attending to other things. But there is no reason why somebody ali mu constituents tasobola kuba mu parliament yakola eki yateesa. You don't need a physical person. This is a .com era. So mperane rare screens. Diwereza somebody to have the ability to either be physically in parliament or to virtually be in parliament.
Kali. Yeah. Kwa 25 era ne divide ku 5. Nsonga dino kansubire nti abalondeibwa ababaka bwa parliament kiba kibakolera. Kubanga waliwo allowance sitting allowance edo kwidoti ya mu parliament. N'ensonga edagulise emotoka. Muntu asobola okwevuka. N'enema president yatuuka n'okubako nti babawe emotoka ediri bulletproof omuntu asigale nga atambula. But can we cut all those expenditures? Tusobola okuba ate nga tujja vasho. System eno eba esoboka. Iwe omuna Uganda ogibona otya. Waliwo abantu bange abali ku mukutu gwange ogwa platform ku WhatsApp pereza obubaka. Iwazira namba yange ya WhatsApp njagikuwa. Togikuba kubanga tijja kugema. Ensonga nende tuli kwogera oli dibona otya. 0753 53 pereza obubaka ku WhatsApp tuongere okuba ate nga ntegeera weene ekiduubo kyo. Wazira kampumulemu ndija kwira tutandikirawo tavaawo. edashiika dido tunatera okutuuka ku nkyo nkalwana n'ekigambo ekyo abazungu kye batusomesa nti wedewera ssaawa mukaaga obwire babukyeyire nkayenda ino lecture edimala ndikirize nti omukaaga nkobe good morning aye nga tubuzayo dakiika 28 tutuuka ku ssaawa omukaaga edooku nkyo nga bwe baatukoba aye nga didda omukaaga ogw'obwire cause nawe tukali mu bwire but however that is my theory. Nize Samu Mwesigwa, that is the platform program ku Baba TV. Tulikulingira reality eri mu Uganda. Kuba kulembeze betulonda. Tiensonga dino oyinza obuladi kukoba. Nti nadi kukoba yinza obutadi kukoba kubanga edinti eriyo byojozula. But ngomu na Uganda bino ebintu byolina okutegeera. Tebakulembeze betulonda banji batuuka mu parliament babula kiboogera. Yabula namukoba nti tiwayogera. Na muntu wawandi yatuuka yakuba ati watukolera ayengeza shemu amutuma abakulembeze mu balonda bava mu byalo bajja basingiye Kampala yalinda ng'ebula emyaka giti yatandika okwira ku nimbe munigina okusondera ku abawala abajja ofumbirwa n'abe batiikire ng'ajja sitayiraga presence aye nga mulina enguudo embi mulina abulwaliro obubi embeera mu constituency ngambi kan imagine ng'abandi naawe akabe mwalonda baaba wobwa minisita But ingano muntu asobola akolesa position eyo gye bamuwanga minister okusobola okuba atenga abakunishyayogera in favor of the constituency kino tujashimalawo tutya owekitibwa Evans Tabingwa Maganda ariko nkuba nti bonga abana science tiddo bawe mbasobola mana science mba mutufu aye ngabo aba ICT technology omukugu balireetawo enkolwa lero twabigemye ino twanalira app ndoze naba app mu maisao nti ngomba kawa parliament ni waba tajire mu parliament asobola otesa dine nsonga edakola mudaleka twaleka kubatenga tubanado kan imagine Uganda tulemererwa biseiteeka lyaba challenged mbuti twali na quorum dine nsonga nti mba kawa parliament tatesisa code bishi nabaka ba parliament ebikumye bitani nti omuntu ni waba awerewe dashika 5 buli mubaka tubasobola atesa muluna kulala bona yewe Wotukuba nti buli mu mwezi batesenga mutwetaaga ebbanga meka next time ashida kuwa ku ngeri yatogeireku pavene ensonga ye muli kulingira era we nawe nenze kuba atenga nkubuuza akalu kano kabaire kansoke ndimbuzi kunkomerero feelings nga tubere mu kalulu ka scientific obabbe kunkomerero kwa akalu kano mulo feelings nga kitofu tubaire nga mu kalulu ka scientific obabbe Because kalangiridwa nti kajaba scientific from the word go.
Malaka taking another diversion.
Science yatulema.
So my thing is that science yatulema. Kuba I think it had dynamics of so many people, different agitations. Abandi baba nga bali excited, abandi baba nga bali annoyed, abandi baba nga they wanted to express themselves. So chaba anti katuka wantu scientific yakolechi yavao
ku last one nino ekintu kyena tidyo baninzeze nka wam the only Uganda ne yakyetegereza mu kalulu kano feelinze mu kwa amaani ga social media either mu good or bad.
Social media, I think, ngabwe tweedie, as I was telling you, in fact, the very major reason why choli kubonanga and nakukoba about these systems I'm emphasizing. Nti, if we don't have this type of reporting systems that give people regular and at short interval trusted information, the whole world over means that waliwo information about jeba excited, like when we talk about the false news and whatever kwegambe bebinde bisasamaza. It has come to a point from research into people even just enjoy that. Hey. Yes, people just kastachi by chintunga kwegamba chiriwa lenga chi omundu asoka yaba nga ali happy about that before so it is also one way of engaging people. Olwalero you can have if you want to whatever to gauge the impact of social media nti basobola okuba nti gundi abaira ali kukola ekintu ekitali very correct olikitegeera. I don't want to put kwegamba ekintu ekiryawo ekiri kusasamaza and whatever but throughout the day buli muntu ayida kuba nti bana ndikwenda kubona ka clip kaleke bakoze ekikibogere ku.
No, you are just going far.
Yes.
What do you gasa no government eri kufightinga? No kutolawo ekintu kyetedi kyazimbibwa kitya. Nti since the other day minister n'abakoba General Tumwine the police eri kwa abantu waliwo balitambuza amawulire mu Uganda ejaba mu KOC ai tulibalabula era tuli kwendo bakabana Uganda ejaba mu mirembe you see but nese bali kuogerako there is no minister yava nakwa nti Uganda ejaba but bali kulwana nacho okukigoba abantu
because it is virtual. So tulina okutegera mpera anuga ifa abali mu technology. There are positives of social media, there are negatives of social media. But of course, one of the reasons why we always want to support social media, in fact, wetulinga mu bintu very, very critical for a person. Recently, we were told social media. Some people are even sick. It's like Uganda had come to a halt. So it's a constitutional right for somebody to have that information.
Part of life.
It has become part of life. And that is now where we are saying abakuguba researcher aba government era still bali no kuingira mu kintu ekyo bakitegeere ntutu. I remember I think there was a time when they told the president that these days it's not the truth but it's about what appears to be the truth that matters. Ekyo nanenya mu kukuba president yakoba no, how can you say that you are not standing to whatever the truth but perception. Nategera ndi mperano dynamics ene mpya kaba tali chikolachi kuba you need to be able to gauge almost several miles away ne information we bangeri kufuma ngoli no kutawo strategy deliberate measures. So if you wait for certain truths to say that it is going to come, this is the truth, if people's heads have gone berserk, you have to learn how to manage them. Yes, by perception. So perception is a very big thing. What people perceive about, it's not even about the truth. So mpera nobody no kufuna abakuguba social media. It's not about people who are maybe in the president's office just using social media. People should carry out research. Where is this taking us? Kuba mpera no likubona nti abatusinga ku in developed countries. Bamaze okurealizing nti even okuba niba nabambega abajo kupickinga information, it is going to be very late. Mpera no chebali kola nti mu system day where you find gundi eyo ingawa abakristayo bakoba nti antichrist and whatever nti chip bakola data y'abantu bona mpera na bakesi eyo chip bagikuta kuki kumutwe oba kumukono. So mpera no bwembantu se woli I don't even have to bother to ask you whether you are who. So long as I do this, gundi ebe sobolo kunkobera all information about you because they know where we are going. They have already known emitwe j'abantu engeri ejiri kuchuka. You understand?
The speed obwongo yebuli kozesa okutya abantu okwalinga weira wakoba nti bana oidi bona koloti katonda na kolati. Those things are no longer there. Let's look at the
you understand? So
issue nti tino gusoka nti aye tuyinza okulingirira nti ensonga yaliwo ku 18 November yavira ku power of social media.
Correct.
Nti ni just a glimpse of one eye. Amawe gaye gatambuyire sino shibaire.
That's the point.
Buli muntu yatandiko, buli muntu ye commanding awali nga wazira commander. Twatuka mu kalulu. Waba total shutdown of internet. Jinga tosobola kuba kunisho accessinga. Negatively kyakosa kitya the social development na kalulu ni social welfare yabana Uganda.
Okay, I have not aggregated the economic impact maybe in terms of cent, but I think the last time I had, I think in less than those 3 or 4 days, somebody was talking to almost $100 million or something like that. But those are statistics that I still need to be able to dig out. But it is also important to realize ni government yene kabiri yatuka mubizibu kuba there were people who are supposed to make returns which ebyo ne gundi na COVID that COVID they were supposed to, there was a problem that it even affected the COVID uploading of results and stuff like that. No kupima olichitegera, but I don't think that chekukobienga ndi sometimes oba alengo kali kulinga ekintu the way you see
yes. Correct.
So chenkukobye ngandi the way you see is the very way you don't
see.
So akantu bakakola I still chatuka kugundi nga kabiri abantu baliyeno balikoba ndi bana abantu gundi tebasobola kufuna gundi this information nga tubaidi nti already mperano tulikuchi tuli kumutimbagano but also that enables us to start thinking very seriously nti bwe tunaba nga tuli kusigala ku mutimbagano and internet are we doing anything in that direction chenkobye ndi mperano chetaga some report no ndikoba mperano in terms of what can we do kuba chona wano tulikoba ndi government yasalaku but also we remember that Facebook and the other teams had also chopped off
some accounts.
Yes ekitegeza ndi bali na ability ya kutusalaku completely so if we lost some few $1 million at that time ba researcher ife tulikola ki where does the government come in and say that can we look for alternative means to do this? Are we going to permanently be in this? Kuba every time you tell people bakoba
we are controlled in hands of somebody.
Yes, kuba mperano bamalaba atukoba nti you know that is not a priority area you know tukaline ebizibu ABCD but now somebody is not realized that this is supposed to be priority. Kuba one time tuida kufuna this global gundi ngo mundu abasalaku completely and you just remain there helpless.
Now can some the message here.
Yes.
Ononi General David Muhoozi. These messages going around threatening Ugandans are contemptible. Ignore them. We will defend you. Go about your business. Your safety is guaranteed. Alina bukakafushi nti buli mulimu na Uganda.
Alifuna buba
the internet is unstable. But alikwenda aleta the truth, atole the perception.
And Mperano, I think that is why we have all those back and forth fights. Chendi koba and Mperano, we need abantu abali deliberate to sit on these things and analyze. Kuba also this will be a short-term thing. As we move forward. Kuba bobona their prisings edale tebizu byona in all these revolutions that were in Tunisia, Libya, jali mitimbagano. Yeah.
So at a certain time we got to the shot in the
so which means that when you have this critical mass or critical information that has passed to people, sometimes even if you bring the truth, you'll bring the truth when the emotions are so high.
Baleka kubona what you brought as the truth.
Exactly. And that's why we're saying that now what we need, that truth, don't stay on it for long. You must make exit, whatever's for that truth, to get to people. Then don't wait at a point when you're under threat.
No, for me the truth.
More for me. Kuba already abantu kabiri ni cha perception chembaire ndi kukoba. So mpera nekitegeza nti government sawe no yetaaga ku employing abakugwa bakola research ku bintu ebyo bya perception and whatever which they call unfortunately which they say that social science bakoba nti biri kukola ki kuba now you need to look at psychology of people how has it changed olikitegera abantu bali kusomera ku mikutu abantu bali kukola social media bokola research even when I wake up in the morning the first thing intako gundi nabanga ndi kufuna updates what is going on. So that's the first point of getting information. So if this is the first point of getting information, somebody should sit and say that if every Ugandan is doing, what do we need to do first of making sure that abantu bafuna? Then in terms of also information, you have also that as an alternative channel besides the media. So there must be deliberate efforts that besides the official media, mukoze plan of how to use the social media and also to okufuna gundi mwata like even topical things that can provide useful informations. So rather than talking about maybe security where people will be biased, kaira kuncho kumukutu taku everything that comes from whatever report said va mu URA mirimu jerikola term reports okuva mu different departments term reports diraga what the whatevers are doing about corruption kuba corruption is such a big abantu batandika kuba yes
those people provide information
exactly
or that center
correct
as
information. So if I wake up in the morning my work will be what is afande kalema talking about corruption. What have they done? You put that, you put the actions. By the time you do that, wajja okukola gundu ojja kubonanga buli muna Uganda ne bw'aba ayenda oba tayenda, because they are trying to whatever about corruption and they find what you are doing, they will be able to follow that social media. Perception. I wanna alinda ku last minute more akobanda have done this, and yet they have been hearing information from different areas that, oh, you are corrupt, you are this. Nobody is going to give you.
Deputy Inspector General of Police, Major General Paul Occasion, Monday accused a section of the opposition politicians of fear, mongering and warned of their consequences for the culprits. General Occasion echoed the Minister of Information and Communication Technology, Judith Nabakova's remarks that there are individuals and political groups that are promoting panic and fear, using malicious video footages and audios to purposely intimidate and prevent Ugandans from going about their normal business and reporting for work. Tidata hakuna kudamwezi kubanga zena naga nikuongera kutisa. So, lastly, awonenze binjino, but mumbele fananeti. What is the role of government? N'abakulembeze oli kudema okujja in politics, in the political power of decision, but mumbere efaanira abakulembeze okolesa ICT in social development yewaye.
So chendi kobandi mperano ICT cannot be ignored. In fact, these days when so many of our students na kobandi, are you a lawyer? Get in touch with ICT. Kuba these days we have law reports ediri online.
Universal court session.
Exactly. Are you an auditor? You must have the ability to do electronic auditing. Otherwise, are you a doctor? We now talk about telemedicine. Are you look at any profession? You understand? Now, it means that technology has actually usurped everything. So, you are seeing now this what social media is doing to traditional media. So much as you do this, you should be able to do. Life has changed. Recently twali kugundi in our university nga tulia nga COVID yakatuka. Bakoba and graduation ate kabiri tulinde, but you know, we were there in the committee, I think, which I chaired, and we managed to hold the first virtual graduation in this country. But parents were so disappointed. Oh, you know, graduation, we need to come there physically. How many universities now are doing virtual graduation? Abana tibafu na mpapala dai. So kwegamba chendigeza
I'm missing my graduation because of that.
So the point chendigeza ko kobanti, the world is not going to wait for us. You understand? Today, you are not going to do things you want to be comfortable about. You will have to get out of your comfort zone and start running. So if the world is running and for you are walking, you will be in trouble.
In Uganda now, still in
yes,
because we still current, we have it now. Okwiza social platforms. The government it is related to security. Is it a related decision?
Well, I may not have full information to do that, because I also know that it's a constitutional right for people to have access to basic information. But maybe seeing the trend of how it was going, I may not be so sure of what dynamics involved to shut down. So sometimes those angaba kulembeze, we have to go slow on certain things. So kalempera nature, I cannot rule it on emotional ground, because I know that, you know, the election time was a tough time, and I know that, you know, so many people were so worried of so many things. So at least once we know that yes, we have security in place, that is good. That does not mean somebody now should go ahead and close social media. Kuba as we are speaking right now, kulika abana ababaire bali kusomera ku internet. You have closed their lives. kuliku
yet we have those
abantu aba baire balikola their business bali maka, they have closed their lives. We have, so you will find that still you are making a very, it could be an immediate solution ngabo bakola maybe mu election or something like that, but I chibachitegeza nti we once you keep that being a very long thing, again it's going to give birth to some other problem. Yes, it's going to give birth to us. That's why everything you have to research what is the spirit behind. Okay, and then you sit and find that okay, to be able to avoid this, kuba mpera necho chona abantu banachigalira, people are going to be like, oh, we are suppressed, whatever. Those are again the perceptions we are talking about, and it has nothing to do with the truth that you have as security.
You are building a perception.
You are building a perception. Mpera no perception yeyo chiri no kuba beyond, chiri no kuba mu strategy. Chendi kukobandi, everything you do, it has nothing to do with the minister making a pronouncement. It has something going and sitting there that how far mwaba ngamuli ahead, ngamuli aware that how long is this going to take? What do we need to do to counter
and what are the expected consequences?
The consequences. Then you manage those perceptions, even if they are bad. You manage them. Otherwise, if you sit and think that okay, I've passed this, we shall do this, we shall do this. Ya jango kukolati nga kwegambe ekifana n'ekiryeyo, and once they brand you something else chibakitegeza and even when they check and you are the one, some of them even they don't even want to read and finish the statement.
In spite of the fact that you've brought the truth.
In fact that you have brought the truth. Olichibona.
Okay, alafatu mugogo nko yanziza alimaki ndiao akobye nti aliku mukwano gwange Kaziba Musa okwotaire ni mwami Sibo Fred mwebala okuba atenga mona platform edashika dange dinjireku atida kusobola kuba atenga neyongerayo ino okuswika wano abampeere izo bakabwange wano bungi ndibona abali kumukutu gwange ogwa the platform ogwa WhatsApp zena nkolesa social platforms mu program muno.
Yes,
I communicate with my people sobola okunegaita kwano kumukutu gwange ogwa WhatsApp twangira okuba atenga tutesa ndowooza nako ntudda kutandikirawo ndakwendako ku n'abandi ku ba legislators tubone enkola eyo gy'oli kuleeta their perception.
Okay.
Tubone nga mu Uganda tulina eno perception kusinga the truth nti era omuntu ajja ne perception yata yakitambulira
kukyala. Mpera lwaki tukola gundi ya perception eyo bw'ojja mu lulimi olw'aba lawyer nti omuntu ng'akaali okwita, in fact bw'ojja nga balijja kusiba kuli omusango gw'okuyita muntu ndi besides the action kyebeeta actus reus waliwo kabiri kyebeeta mens rea. Mperano actus reus n'ekikolwa ky'oba okoze eky'okuyita ekiraga nti yige bakugemye era bali ni evidence eraga ndi wakoze eki aye punishment tiyakuba tikwita kuno kwonka bajja balina okunoonya guilty mind kuba waliwo ekirowoozo kino wekyatandikire kiyinza okuba kyali kya weeks 2 kiyinza okuba kyali kya weeks ndala exactly kuba watandika okulowooza ndi ekintu kino nakikola kiti. So it's about that mind behind that. The reason why we talk about kuba by the time you talk about the truth ekirese truth kiviirewo perception. How somebody has been perceiving you. So even when the person is perceiving, it doesn't mean that it's the truth. When those and you're a bad person, it doesn't mean that you're actually a bad person. Kuba gundi ayinza okuba natuse ku ground eno yankoba nti oyo mwesi gwoyo aliati. So that's why sometimes you want to find nti ono omuntu lwaki ali kulowooza ati. And that's why now the intelligence eyo muntu erina okuba so much kuba eyo is where that dart of hate, the dart of whatever yobuta respecting abantu dart yokola ebyo ebintu byona ebyo biri kuvaki biri kufeyo migundi
owesiba tusibule.
Okay, nenda kwebaza abo bona batuliza olunaku lwa leero mwebale ino okuwuliza bana Uganda era tukalina okulonda katusabe tumalize okulonda bukalamu ababajire mu kooti bona tusaba nti baida kulamula bukalamu era nabo bona tubenga tuli patient. Uganda is for us all. and we should work hard to get to make sure that we promote our country. Of course, ndakwenda kwebaza abewange mukyala wange Mary, Thierry, Jerome, Taffy, bona mwebale ino mwebalire irala. Thank you.
Okay, kweyanziza kwebala okuba ate ng'otuwaire obwire obwo ebigambo ebyo ebigemagana ku bakulembeze kwiwanga lye and the reality. Ninze Samuel Mwesigwa yona yosinzira okuba ng'otambula ninze tidana mulala ku mulala endidi nti muli bangi mwefirize endolo nongera okuba ate nga mbasiima katugemagane ensho mu nsho Yusef Kyabazinga wa Busoga funvu ebyanda n'ebyanda.